Hi friends, and thanks so much for being here. Today I want to share with you a really cute treat holder that I made to fit Ghiradelli squares. Now I love to make treat holders, but they sometimes can be really time consuming to create. So today I want to share with you a couple of tricks for how to make this particular treat holder and make several at a time so that you can create them for your family or friends, maybe a holiday gathering or something coming up at your church, and save yourself a little bit of time. Let's get started. Here you can see this cute treat holder. I used our Hello Ladybug punch set, which is great for creating a lot of those cute ladybugs, and some nice designer paper in the background, and I'll show you how it opens up. You can tie it shut with some twine, and then it opens up just like this to see that Ghiradelli square on the inside. So let me show you what we need to create this. We need some designer paper. Mine came from the Heart and Home paper pack. I love these really neutral wood grain prints, and this pack has quite a few of them in it. I stamped on this piece, and this was perfect so that you can still see that greeting on this piece of paper. Some cardstock in the color of your choice, and some 2-inch strips of white paper that we will use to stamp the ladybugs and the wings. First, let's go ahead and create several of the bases for these with the cardstock. So I'm starting with my 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I want to trim just 1/4 inch off of the right side over here. So I'll line it up at 8 1/4. And trim the small strip off the edge. Now I want to do a little bit of scoring. So you can use your scoring board, or if you have the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, you can do this right on here, which is handy. So now we want to score at 4 inches and 4 1/4 inches. So what I'm showing you how to do is do that scoring before you cut these apart into smaller pieces. So now we're going to trim these into strips for each particular treat holder. You can get 5 of these out of 1 piece of cardstock. And now I'm going to line this up at the 10-inch mark, and we'll cut this off. This piece will be waist, and then the rest of these will be the right size for treat holders. So line it up at 8. Each one of these will be 2 inches wide. So cut one at 8, cut at 6, cut at 4, and again at 2. Now I will mention that with the punch I'm going to use, it can work a little bit easier if these are just barely under 2 inches wide. So if you prefer, if you have any problems doing this, what you can do is line these up and just bring it in from the right side to the left side. Line it up just under 2 inches and cut. And here you can see I cut off just a tiny bit, but that little difference can make it easier to use the punch I'm going to show you. So now we have all of the bases prepped. Let's go ahead and cut our designer paper while we have the trimmer out. And what you want to do is cut off a 3-inch strip, and then turn this piece sideways, and we need pieces that measure 1 3/4 inches. So you don't even have to lift up on your trimmer arm. You can just slide these underneath. So I'll cut 5 of these since we cut 5 bases. And now I'm debating, should we stamp ladybugs or should we assemble what we've created so far? Let's go ahead and assemble one of these that we have so far, and then we'll stamp ladybugs next. So what we need to do is punch the ends of this piece with the fancy tag topper punch. So this is where I mentioned if your piece is just over 2 inches, it may not slide into this punch correctly. So being right at 2 inches or just under works a little bit better. You want to punch both ends. And now that is prepared. So we just need to fold on both of these score lines. And this will be the base for that treat holder. Now we do want to attach this piece to the front, and we'll stamp a greeting on. Now here's that Hello Ladybug stamp set that I'm using, and it has some really cute greetings in it. So I pulled out 3 of them that I'm going to use on these pieces and mix them up some. I pulled out my friend, hello, and it's a good day. The one I showed you that I already created, here I had the It's a Good Day stamped on the front. So for this one, let's use my friend. And I'll also mix up where I do my stamping and where the ladybugs are and which directions the ladybugs are facing, just to get some variety in them. So I stamped that on. Now I want to attach this to the front. If you're doing several, I'm only going to show you how to assemble one of these in the video, but if you're doing several, it can be helpful to flip all of these pieces over at the same time, put your adhesive on the back, and then go ahead and do all of this assembling without having to put one on, then do your adhesive, put the next one on. If you do it all at the same time, it can save you a little bit of time. So we have this prepared. Now let's talk about ladybugs. I have stamped, I told you that we needed some 2-inch strips of paper. I have stamped several of these onto these papers. So I stamped the ladybug bases or bodies in basic gray. I decided not to go with black for these. I went with the gray. And then I've stamped wings in several colors: Calypso Coral, Poppy Parade, Magenta Madness, and Gorgeous Grape. And here is a trick for doing this so that you don't waste paper on these. If you're only doing one or a few of these, what you want to do is stamp your wings the same direction I'm showing, starting at the right side of your paper. And here's why. We can slide this, starting at the right side of your paper here, we can slide this right on and punch that out. Now, if I had started over here on the left side of my paper and I wanted to punch out one ladybug wing, here's what's going to happen. When I punch this one out, I'm going to waste this paper right here. So start over here on the right side of your paper with your stamping, and you can move your way to the left, punching out however many you have. Okay, and then with the ladybugs, it is basically the opposite. So you want to start over towards the left side of your paper. And these are at a little bit of an angle, so if you remember that when you're stamping, it can make it a little bit easier to punch. But we can punch out this one and then move our way towards the right side with the rest. Whereas if you had to start over here and punch this one first, you're going to waste this paper right here. So there's a couple little tips with stamping and punching out the ladybugs and the wings. So now that we have these, I decided to attach these with dimensionals so they would pop up some. You can absolutely use glue or tape if you want to, but I decided to use 2 of the small dimensionals on the backs of the wings and then 2 large dimensionals on the backs of the actual ladybug. So I'll put these 2 here, pull that paper backing off, and put this on the ladybug's back. Now we'll get some of these bigger dimensionals. Put 2 of these on the back. And attach this to the front of that treat holder. I do want to add a couple of these really pretty pastel pearls. And then we'll add our Ghiradelli square on the inside, and we can tie it shut after that. So you can add dimensionals on the back of these. That's my preferred way of doing it. You can use glue dots. You could actually use glue if you want to. So I'll just give a little press there. You do have to be careful with these, especially the caramel ones, the ones that are filled, so that you don't squish them. And then I have about 9 inches of twine here, and we will tie this shut. So thanks so much for watching along. I hope this gives you a fun idea for treat holders. You could use these for Easter coming up, Mother's Day, birthdays, all kinds of different occasions, depending on how you decorate them. So I hope you have a blessed day. You can find information on the products I used in the video description below. There's also a link to go to my website if you want more information. Have a blessed day. I hope you'll be back again next time when I'll be here helping you to hand make with love.